What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is I Bring Life, also known as Shelty, also known as the Snake. I like to call him Shelty the Snake. Shelton. Today is Age Mythology's 20th birthday. It's an exciting time to be alive, and we're going to be casting games, playing games all through the night as long as we possibly can, enjoying every moment of it if we can, and seeing what's all going to go on. Shelty's opponent today in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Murad the Fourth, an up-and-comer. I always love watching these up-and-comers playing against the pros, because you get to see that the skill gap, it's not really there. There is no skill gap anymore. There's plenty of players who are getting to that level to take games off of everyone and anyone. And that's the exciting thing about Age of Mythology, the Titans. The difference between a 1900 player and an 1800 player is really, really big. And these players are closing the gap every single day, because it is so very hard to push yourself up beyond that 1900-ish level into the 2K region, where people start being considered gods among men. So we'll see how this game is going to shape up. We've got a Zeus versus Odin. Personally, I love this matchup. We've got an exposed gold mine at the front, but a very, very nice back gold mine over here, which Shelty's going to be very happy about. So if he has to leave this location, he'll have to leave this location. But I think Shelty's going to be happy having these towers here. There will be a small weakness in his position right here. These double rhinos in his base are very, very... You got to be very happy seeing this here, because the rhinos will get dragged back into here and be eaten around this location. The problem, obviously, is that these towers don't protect this area. So if Murad gets in with some Toxotes and an Odysseus, he can start shooting at these villages, forcing fights, or forcing Shelty to move over onto this gold mine. And we are actually seeing Shelty smartly moving forward, and he's going to be eating these rhinos instead of sitting on these gazelle for all eternity over here. He's going to be eating the rhinos and eating them up nice and early, such that he's not going to have to worry about any sort of Athena rush coming his way. Now, if we come over and we check out Murad's base and we see what he's doing, he's shot all of his kind of gazelle down. He's going onto a second food situation over here, and he is getting closer and closer to the classical age. Now, he hasn't thrown his temple down just yet, so it's a little bit late, which means probably going to be looking for something like a 430 or even later. So there's lots of different ideas here with Zeus on this map. We've seen a lot of players just sticking with the Athena rush here, going for some relatively fast mythic ages and things like that to kind of win the game. Even just rushing in and winning the game straight away is a possibility. But the big one that we don't see very often, which is very, very strong on watering hole type map, is the fast second town center. Getting that one over here and having a very defensive orientated game where you're trying to go that way instead of the all-out aggression. Very, very difficult to pull off if you don't have a fantastic town center. This one's not that great. If you don't have a fantastic town center, you can get overrun by the Norse player. But in this situation, we're actually seeing Hermes coming through for Murad. So we'll see what he's going to go for with this. It might be just simply Centaur and the likes to try and get some value out of those. Now, we do have to remember that Odin, very, very weak against Centaur, because he doesn't have access to Hall of Thanes, and his raiding cavalry can get picked off really easily. So Murad's going to have all of the map control here. He's got plenty of villages on wood, and we'll see how he's going to make that work right now. Starting to see the buildings coming through for Shelty. He's making a nice building positioning over here to try and protect his base. Walls coming up here as well. Freya on the way, so no real surprises there. Very rarely would I recommend Heimdall in this matchup. Potentially Heimdall on a water map might not go too astray, but none of the standard water maps I don't think make a whole lot of sense. Maybe on a team game going Heimdall on Mediterranean could work, but I don't see it making a whole lot of sense otherwise, as Shelty's going to finish up eating his rhinoceros, moving back over onto his gazelle back here, being very happy about that one there. If we take a good look at Shelty's base, it's not completely closed off if he walls all of this off, because he still has this location over here that's completely open. As we see the longhouse is getting dropped down. The Valkyrie's going to be looking for some sort of attacks, but remember, Bolt is available. 9 times out of 10, we see Bolt use it on that Valkyrie there, as we see Odysseus coming through, Sylvan Law coming in, and a stable being dropped by Murad. This is a very, very old style of Zeus here, going Centaurs and Hippocon to try and deal with what your opponent is doing. And it might work, it might not. We'll see how it's all going to go. We do see the bolt getting dropped, getting a couple of hits off on that centaur before the bolt comes down. So Shelty's going to be happy about that one. We are going to be seeing the Hersa moving up onto this location over here as the Olsark's trying to finish off this wall. The centaur Polmark will be in the base though. So one centaur, not that big of a deal. You will be able to kind of push that one out of here, as we see Murad kind of just sneaking through here. The Hersa will spot said centaur wandering through the base as we're starting to see some villagers moving forward. I wonder if that's a mistake or not. Oftentimes players forget to task their villagers. There is a cheeky way, as we are seeing a military academy getting dropped here by Murad, there is a cheeky way you can actually break through these types of walls on vanilla, on the original Titans and on vanilla. It doesn't work on extended edition. It does work on, like, I believe it does work on maps like on games like Age of Empires 2. So it was something that kind of was meant to be in here in a weird way, even though it wasn't meant to be in here in a weird way. But we do see that Murad has broken his way through right now, going to be hitting these long houses as Shelty is in full scramble. We are seeing the centaur retreating away. And is there an escape path? Yes, there is. The centaur will be able to retreat all the way around if it so chooses, but it does get a couple of hits off there, just the one. As it's running straight back into the base. Raiding cavalry now making their way out here. Going to be looking for something to attack in the main base of Murad. Murad doesn't really have too many defenses where that's concerned. The hoplites still haven't really started for him. He's got them queued up, but not enough gold just yet. Making stables or Hippocon and making hoplites very, very expensive. Right now, Murad's got a few too many resources in the bank, I would say, to be putting this pressure on. He wants to be spending these as much as he can. If he was closer to 0 food, 0 wood, it'd be a much different story, as we're going to be seeing Shelty coming back in. Shelty, a really, really strong macro play, but as I say that, it's sitting with 500 wood in the bank. Potentially the idea with that wood is going to be throwing down a town center here in the near future, as Murad is seemingly very much going to be on the defensive now. He's not able to get into the base. We could finish the wall, rebuild the wall over here, get that town center up for Shelty and be really, really happy. Even a town center here could go a long way. Starting to see Murad putting some pressure on right now, but got a lot of raiding cavalry here for Shelty. He probably would be able to win this fight if he did decide to come in and take it. As we see the Odysseus helping out a lot. Seeing the raiding cavalry pulling back in, trying to pick off that centaur. Centaur does have 6.5 speed compared to the medium raiders 6.0 speed. So that centaur going to be able to get away without too much hassle. If Shelty does decide to get himself the upgrade on his raiding cavalry, he will be able to chase these centaur down. But he has to get that one there, as we are starting to see the centaur harassing this wood line over here. That's not really a decent wood line for Shelty to go to, so he's going to be returning back over onto his straggler trees. He does have all of these hunts still here, which makes me really surprised why he's eating his pigs here. Maybe just a little bit terrified of the centaur moving into his base. Seeing the raiding cavalry still looking for something to attack. They're going to move straight onto this food situation over here, as we see some villagers getting picked off on that location over here. Nice play by Shelty, as the other walls getting taken down. That one centaur has been dealt with, as now the dwarves moving over onto this large gold mine. Going to be a bit of a weakness in Shelty's position that he's going to have to overcome. Meanwhile, we do see the forest fire getting dropped over here, as all the villagers jumping onto this location. We've got a whole bunch of centaur coming in here, going to be able to one-bang one of those raiding cavalry as they're going straight after the granary here, trying to make things a little bit difficult for his opponent, but he's taking a lot of damage to do this and does decide to retreat after already losing 2 of those raiding cavalry there. The forest fire getting just a little bit of extra damage done onto those centaur, but it's not going to be really enough to do all too much. And Shelty's returning back home, and he does manage to find his way to the heroic age here as Murad still pumping units out. He's at 93 of 105 population. More throwing axemen coming out for Shelty as the raiding cavalry going to be returning back in onto this position. And now Murad sitting back here looking like he's wanting to put some real pressure onto his opponent here. But the big thing that is worrying for Murad is he doesn't really have a great answer to these throwing axemen. I mean, he does have the centaur, and he will have to basically micro this incredibly well, because if the centaur can take down those throwing axemen nicely, the rest of the army is very, very scary. But right now, Shelty's going to have access to Frost very, very shortly. He's kind of distracting at this point. But Murad's got a huge score lead here, so we'll see if he's going to be able to utilize this one. Now, seeing the units coming through, definitely taking this fight is going to be something that he needs to do, as we do see the Frost getting dropped, hitting nearly every single one of those units. I would normally say use Ceasefire here, and I think that would be a good play, but we're still not seeing it being dropped. Maybe just wanting to wait just a little bit here as we see the hill fort going up on this position. There might be an attempt at walling this in if Shelty wants to try that and block these units from retreating, but I feel like Shelty just wanted that time. He's going to be getting out some Frost Giants here, I'd assume 41 favor in the bank. And Murad now needs to think about where to next. He's 115 population. He's going to be throwing down his armory here, I would imagine, and he's going to be looking to go to the heroic age. Now, the big question is, what heroic age do you go through? We are going to be seeing just enough resources here to advance from these 3 villages on food. Villages moving over here onto these zebra yet again. There are some crowned crane over here, and the units for Murad do seemingly look like they're going to be able to somewhat retreat here, as Shelty is trying to be as annoying as possible, trying to disallow that, but just not quite able to, as Murad's pulled back. Are we seeing Dionysus or Apollo? We are seeing Dionysus. Now, we don't see Dionysus very often for a bit of a reason. The bronze isn't all that strong. Moreover, you've got yourself a ton of centaur here. But the more important part is that underworld is so incredibly strong. Imagine an underworld onto this location, hitting all those dwarves would be really, really strong. We do see a handful of units over here as Murad continuing to take this fight. He definitely needs to get out of here, as the Frost Giant, very, very low HP though, so he did manage to get some good damage done there, as the centaur are going to be retreating away for the time being here. Centaurs have been picked off, 2 of them, and Shelty going to be retreating back. The question is, where to next for Shelty? And Shelty's going to be grabbing himself a second town center. I feel like, given the amount of food that Shelty still has here, I guess he doesn't really have that much. We've got the elephant over here. I would think that the idea of going for a really, really early Fimble Winter instead of the town center might make a lot more sense. But he is going to be grabbing said town center. He's got himself heavy raiders already, so you can imagine him being at 800 food, 600 gold, 900 food, 900 gold. So he'd be able to advance very, very shortly, throw down the market instead of getting those upgrades. And then a Fimble Winter coming down would really, really total Murad's economy here, as Murad is likely going to be going to the Mythic Age himself at some point, as we are seeing these units going to be taking this fight right now. The centaur coming through, the bronze gets dropped, so the Hydra going straight after the medium throwing axeman here. The Odysseus on this position as well, going to be able to take down that Frost Giant if he does decide to start microing that one. At this point, the Frost Giant is getting absolute value here. These throwing axemen doing some decent damage to the Hippocon, but with bronze, the Hippocon do jump up to 37% hack armor, so the throwing axemen stop being so unintentionally efficient there, I would guess, as Shelty does have to retreat here, with Murad having a very, very nice time in that fight. The Townsend are now up for Shelty, and you can see now Shelty kind of out of resources, kind of on the back foot, going to be giving Murad a very, very nice opportunity here to make some ground in this game, as units pushing in here. Let's take a quick look at Murad's economy. He's got the second town center up himself right now as the Odysseus intending to take down the Frost Giant as best as he possibly can. But right now, the heavy raiding cavalry do swing around, circle onto the Odysseus, allowing the Frost Giants to go to town on these units even better. And it looks as if those heavy upgraded raiding cavalry coming in somewhat clutch here to defend this position. And we'll see if Shelty is going to be okay here. Murad's at 94 population. Shelty is at 81 population. So both players very much struggling here. We still got the throwing action coming out, but mostly raiding cavalry coming through. This Hydra is being an absolute beast in this game. He's got 3 heads here. Going to be able to do 60 damage per second, which is absolutely huge. Once you get up to this 60 damage per second kind of 3-headed Hydra moment, the Hydra starts getting a lot of those last killing blows, which can be very, very difficult to get off of 1 or 2 heads. So once it's doing 60 damage per second, I think it's like a 1.5 animation or something. So you're actually looking at closer to 90 damage per attack. It basically one-shots a bunch of units. So you're going to get to that 4th head and get to that 5th head really, really fast if the Hydra can stay alive. Now, we do have to really remember that a very easy way to defend against the Hydra and against myth units in general with Norse is the Frost Giant. So you do have to be careful about that one, as we are starting to see Murad coming in onto this position. The Prodromus starting to come out, which are a very, very strong counter to those raiding cavalry there, as more villagers coming out for Murad. He's got a lot of villagers on this gold mine. This is always where Shelty shines. He's going to be looking for these middle to early late game raids going straight after these villagers. One way you can avoid this type of raid is identify your weaknesses. Get this wall up as soon as you come onto this gold mine is vitally important. But right now, tons of villagers going to be going down. We are seeing a counter attack right now. 4-headed Hydra now for Murad, but these villagers are going to be getting taken down. There's going to be a lot of kills here as the villagers making a break for it. Tons getting picked off here as Shelty finds a very, very nice counter push or very nice raid and catches Murad very much out of position with his villagers. Tons falling, and that's just such an advantage right now. We're going to be seeing Murad trying to push the game over here, trying to take this town center for himself. Murad's at 93 of 130 population right now. Shelty's at 130 of 130 population. As we're starting to see this town center getting targeted down, the villagers making a break for it. Looks like this town center will be getting taken out. Remember, we're 4-headed Hydra doing 80 damage per second. That's equivalent to 10 hoplites attacking this town center. So it's a lot of damage coming in onto that town center as it does fall there. Raiding cavalry still going straight after these villagers as Murad does get a nice win here, but Shelty just smartly says, I don't mind, I'm just going to grab this town center instead. Keep raiding you as best as I possibly can and see how it all ends up shaping up. Now we've got the Centaur coming through. This gold mine for Shelty has run out, so we will have to move up to the top side of the map. Meanwhile, we've got villagers over on this gold mine over here with the Raven flying overhead. Wouldn't be surprised to see Shelty simply going up there immediately right now. That's 7 villagers that are free kills. There's no way for them to retreat. And that's exactly where Shelty's going to be heading. Still only the 4-headed, not yet a 5-headed Hydra for Murad, but he's going to be pushing in nonetheless, looking to take out some more units here. Look at this Hydra go to town. Boom, half HP. Boom, dead. 2-shotting a raiding cavalry, and there's the 5th head. This Hydra is going to be basically one-hitting these raiding cavalry, definitely one-hitting those throwing axes. Meanwhile, these villagers do make a break for it, and they're all still alive here. A little bit surprised about that one. Meanwhile, villagers have jumped onto this gold mine for Shelty right now as the villagers are still trying to retreat back. And we do see Murad pulling back for the time being. 104 of 130 population. Shelty's now at 130 of 130 population. Still going after these villagers as best as he possibly can. The villagers will retreat back into this town center. We see the villagers are getting caught out. The storehouse has to get deleted as the villagers Mostly going to get to safety, but one or two will end up falling there as Shelty's lone 8, or his 8 rating cavalry party is doing so much damage. Shelty dropping his market right now on this position, going to be looking to get to the mythic age here. Definitely a Fimbulwinter or a Ragnarok could be incredibly strong at this point. Meanwhile, the Hydra started to come through. We are seeing the talents that are targeting the Hydra down now, though, so it will fall. It's only got 40% pierce armor, and that's very, very sad. Hydra going to be getting taken out there, and the Townsend that should get saved at this point. Meanwhile, the raids still coming through. You see so many dead villagers. These raiders don't have any pierce upgrades. It's simply just heavy raiders sitting at 141 HP total. They stay alive for a very, very long time in the Townsend. We're still seeing the gold mines getting scouted out, and right now, Murad has got 0 gold income in the bank as the Townsend gets defended, and Shelty lives another day, garrisoning those, throwing axemen here. Going to be getting bonus damage out of that town center as well to finish off those Toxotes pretty easily, and he will be advancing to the heroic age, mythic age, I should say, very, very shortly. I would be surprised to see him go anything other than tier, but we don't get to see what he would have picked, as Murad does have to tap out. GG, well played by Shelty, showing the power of those raiding cavalry with the I don't think he got Thundering Hooves until a little bit later. I was just saying, just the power of heavy raiders here. Though I do want to make I did mention it already, but I want to make special mention of the difference that this game could have had Murad thrown this wall up over here, maybe thrown a wall up over here and protected this gold mine a bit better, and then also chased the raiding cavalry down with Prodromus. Would have been a really, really easy way to survive and continue here. Furthermore, there was an option here for Murad to not grab his own second town center as an attempt to counter the kind of delayed second town center that Shelty had grabbed by going for an early Hera here. After the frost was used, everything was happening, the bronze push, I could definitely imagine seeing Murad being able to afford Mythic Age, Lightning Storm, and being in a commanding position in this game. Just simply due to Shelty kind of playing the safe route by getting a delayed second town center. And it's just when you're going hard one town center gameplay, getting like a 13, 14 minute like town center is very, very like old theory. If you go and watch some of the early games back in like 2006, 2005 of players playing vanilla, and they would always do these kind of like long drawn out classical age fights, and then once they get to the heroic age, immediately drop a town center. But the idea is that the town center costs a lot of resources. On top of that, then you're training villages, so you're going to delay your tech significantly. So if you can out tech the economic boom, and there's an option to do that, then you can find some victories. I definitely think that was an option for both players to try here, but Shelty makes it work nonetheless here and gets the dub. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.